Okay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever it is you're located. Thanks for watching. You're watching DCBornRob, Erasing Borders. I'm DC Rob. This video is to explain and illustrate why Expedia sucks. Hashtag Expedia sucks. You want to know why? I found the site. Well, actually, I didn't find the site. One of you guys, Sean, one of my viewers who actually lives in Houston, who actually used to work for Expedia, who's already recorded part one with me. I wanted to put this one up to preface that video. There's going to be a part one and a part two because it started getting good and I had to hold off because it's going to take longer. We couldn't chuck it all into 40 minutes. So that one you will see probably tomorrow or the next day, but at least I want to show you some reviews. What are people saying? He introduced me to a couple of sites, one of which is a TrustPilot. It is a website that allows people such as you and I to review and rate companies. So what do you think Expedia has? Let's type in Expedia. Boom, it's in the red. I wonder why. Expedia has a 1.2 rating. Go figure. So I'm going to read some of these reviews. This is what I asked you guys for. I heard from a couple of you, but this is en masse. Okay. I've got a whole bunch of reviews. So this site is good too, because if you're looking for a new bank, you can type in bank and it'll show you the highest rated banks. So I'm loving this website so far. So use this as a tool. It's trustpilot.com. So let's get into the first one. Stephen Owing says, if you are using the One Key program, be aware of the fact that it is for hotels only, not package deals after 4 hours of phone calls. The chat finally got my refunds. Chat finally got my refunds because I wanted to spend my earned rewards from this program. I will not use this site for flights as my Chase travel is 20% cheaper. Okay, Pro Japan Jut. I read this one briefly. Expedia sold me a ticket from Morocco to Japan via Shanghai, making it like a standard connection. Nowhere did it warn me that, and they're going to tell you somewhere in the small print, nowhere did it warn me the second boarding pass would not be issued at origin. I would have to reclaim baggage, recheck in, and pass through immigration in China. And most importantly, I'd be locked out of the airport for 12 hours overnight without a visa or boarding pass. I'm going to tell you something. This is cathartic for me because after what I went through, I was traumatized by this. And I travel for a living. I literally travel for a living, have been for the past 25 years. No support, no warning, no care, just cheap booking funnel with zero human responsibility. And that's a fact. If you get to a person like I did, I spoke to 3 supervisors a couple of days ago, to no avail. They're not going to help me at all. So, and one thing, and I'm going to tell you the biggest thing that I've learned so far was learned from Sean towards the end of our conversation. I told Expedia this. I said, I'm your customer. Why aren't you looking out for your customer? Well, he shifted my paradigm a little bit in that the customer is the hotel. So they're looking out for the hotel. So the hotel says, well, we're not covering it because we put it in the small print. Then it's the person that's Expedia that went out and got that hotel as an account that's responsible for this. So to me, they have a bad apple. And now I know I'm going after the hotel as well. So I'll be doing a Better Business Bureau complaint against them tomorrow. And we're going to look them up here and see if they're here also. But let's see, what's the next one? Don't rent a car. Don't rent a car through Expedia. I rented it through Expedia online. I arrived at the branch to collect my car and they refused to rent the car to me with no evidence or reasoning as why at all. I have now been trying to get a refund and Expedia are refusing to give me back my money. Such disgusting behavior and attitude from the staff there, completely negligent. I feel you. You're not going to get any compassion from these people because they could care less. I'm sure there's levels to the support and the supervisors, but each one I talk to no avail. And they're not in this country. And you know this. They're not in this country. I don't know if they understood me fully, but I understood his BS fully. So I kept it moving and I want to speak to somebody else. I want to escalate it. But they don't care about you. You will get the worst, possibly the worst room, the worst car. And just by introducing them into your travel mix, it's another point of failure. I deal with electronics. So if I have 3 products, 1, 2, 3, that gives 2 points of failure in between each one. So if I can put two products into one and then one over here, then that's just one point of failure. You know what I mean? Keep out that extra piece that may cause a problem. And this is the extra piece that seems to cause the problems. Okay, ruined by AI chatbot. Another company ruined by the inane and insane verbal nonsense of the AI chatbot. Faulty software. And this is from Swimmer. Let's see. And this was a day ago. The date for hotel bookings was the wrong date for me. I changed the dates to suit me and was pleased to see that the same price was for my dates. Only after paying, we discovered that the booking was for the wrong dates and non-refundable. I phoned customer service straight away and could not get a refund. Damn. Now, if you call them right away, before you just made the plans, one thing about booking direct with a flight, you can cancel within 24 hours. I guess most of you know this. If I book, I can book, oh, this is a good price. I can book for Southwest or United to go to Maury or whatever. And then I still got a day to decide. If I don't really decide, I don't really want to go to Maui. I'd rather go to Tennessee. I can cancel that within 24 hours. Just know that you can. But here they're saying they would not allow them to do it right after booking it. And that's your flight. Next one's Varian says, I kept being asked for all my credit card details. I tried for hours to get a hold of Expedia representative on their official website. I used a live chat and it was asked multiple times from entire card details, including security code. I was asked for this when calling their official NZ phone number. There can't be any good reason why this personal financial information would ever be requested. I don't know what to tell you there. I hate giving out my information, but sometimes you have to. I mean, just like I did, and one of you guys, one of my viewers said something that when the hotel asked me the night before for my credit card information, I thought this was legit. It was through an app. They had a program that did this. It went through a process. You take a picture front and back of my ID also. And it was something else it wouldn't do, but it went through. It allowed me to send it and they got it. So I'm thinking I'm good to show up. They got my credit card. To you, if they got your credit card, what are your thoughts on a deposit? Wouldn't you think it's taken care of? Well, it was not. Okay. A Malik says, I made a booking and 30 minutes later, I tried to cancel it because we changed our mind and they wouldn't let me. They said I would have to pay the full amount because my booking was non-refundable. They blamed the hotel I had booked. I am not convinced. And here again, it could have been the hotel to tell Expedia, well, we're not paying. Remember, the hotel is Expedia's client, not you. You're some third-party Joe that they just sucked the money out of, and they got all kind of small disclaimers and small print and just weird things that you would never think. 30 minutes later, you would figure you could delete that. Again, call an airline, make a reservation, you can cancel it within 24 hours. But if you go through Expedia, as it shows right here, if there's some small print somewhere that says it is non-refundable, then guess what? They ain't going to help you. Okay, this one's a little bit long. Let's see. Misleading photos, poor service, and unreliable bookings. My disappointing experience with Expedia. I'm extremely disappointed with my recent experience booking through Expedia. The photos on the websites did not accurately reflect what I received when I booked. I was shown beautiful pictures of a room with an ocean view, but when I arrived, it was only a partial view. I contacted Expedia and they told me at the time of my booking there was only one option available, even though I had two types of rooms. The photos were outdated and misleading and they never updated them. To make things worse, then they told the hotel that made the wrong choice, even though the error was entirely theirs. Additionally, I had booked a shuttle through Expedia, trusting that, oh man, don't use the word trusting with Expedia, okay? Two separate things. You don't want to trust Expedia because, again, they're that extra point of failure. They're that extra point of failure that you may not have thought of because I didn't think of it. I never thought in my life. I travel for a living. I've stayed at hundreds of hotels, flown on well over 150, 250 flights in my life. Never, ever have I had the experience that I just had in Toronto. Never, ever have I had a hotel demand for $550 cash to be wired to them, even though they got my credit card. You tell me. I'm fighting this to the end. You guys need to know that Expedia sucks. That's right. So I'm passing this on. Additionally, I booked a shuttle through Expedia, trusting they would provide a reliable service. However, I ended up waiting for 45 minutes, which is unacceptable for a company. I don't know what kind of shuttle you have with Expedia. I don't know. I don't know how they. Well, I guess you can do shuttles like like you're out of the country, like I go to Antigua, I guess Expedia. Yeah, Expedia will be able to arrange a shuttle, but then there's that extra point of failure. Why not just go to the company, the shuttle company? Because Expedia is calling the shuttle company, and there's communication, and there's a lack. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm thinking Antigua and taking the shuttle from Antigua to Lake Atilan. And I'm not sure if we used it before, Expedia or some other source, because my ex had Expedia and she was higher up on the platform. So we used her a lot, used her account a lot because she got extra perks like, late night meals and snacks at happy hour, free drink at happy hour, things like that. Sometimes you want that free drink at happy hour. But you see, he's got some problems here. Let's see what's next. Absolute scam of a company. Absolute scam of a company. Never, ever, ever book anything through this company. You will be charged fees for everything. That is Dylan. I want your voices, these voices. I'm saying, Dylan, thank you for your review. Dylan DeBusk, because my viewers, you guys are still watching this, get the benefit of their information. Learn something. That's all I can do is put out the information, what people are saying, but you make an informed decision now because you have more information. K Tina says, thanks for trying to steal my money. Wow. Your service rep said it was the hotel declining my refund, and the hotel said it was Expedia keeping my money. What an awful service. Scam. I never got used to booking because my hotel requires the credit card on site. So why is Expedia booking at places that you need a card present? I couldn't check in, and you think you could keep my money? Whoa, wait a minute. I never got to use my booking because the hotel requires a credit card on site. Well, I don't know, Kay. I'm thinking every hotel needs a credit card on site. Even though you've done it ahead of time, they're still going to ask you for that card before you get there. In some places lately, I've noticed I've been getting emails and text saying, do I want to check in electronically? Do I want to sign up for their program, which I'm Hilton Honors and all that stuff, but I don't want to go through all that stuff just to get some kind of electronic key. I still got to go to front desk. You're still going to ask me for a credit card unless that little piece asks for the credit card right there. But they still want to know you got a credit card present. So I don't know about that one, Aaliyah, or who was that? Katina. But Aaliyah says, I don't rent a car through Expedia. I rented a car through Expedia online. I arrived at the branch to collect my car, and they refused to rent a car to me with no evidence or reasoning as to why at all. I have now been trying to get a refund at Expedia, are refusing to give me my money back. Such disgusting behavior and attitude from the staff there, completely negligent. There you go. Nick gives them a full 1. I think this is what I gave them. We're going to scroll back. We may run into my review. Let's see. Nick says, car rental, excessive hidden charges, booked a car and paid in full. At the pickup location, a deposit of €1,800 was requested in order to get the rental paid in advance. I refused to pay the excessive amount. Expedia customer service did nothing to rectify this issue, and no refund issued. I was left stranded with no car. Damn, Nick. Okay, Stephen Nobish. Be careful using Expedia. I hope you're getting something out of this, guys. I'm doing this for you. I already know, but I am after this. I am on top of this. I will, like I said, I'm not going to put my life's effort into this, but I have the rest of my life to make sure the guys know I don't like getting scammed. I don't like getting got. I don't like you getting got. I don't like you getting scammed. So I don't want anybody to have to go through the same thing that I did. I'm telling you, it was so traumatized. It took me a week. I was sick for the whole week. It took me a week to get out of that. I'm drinking coffee. I'm getting heated already. Okay. Let's see. Larissa Spooner says, the worst experience ever. Never book on vacation with Expedia if you don't want to ruin your vacation. If there is a -1 star, that's how I would rate them. Airport transfer was listed 28 minutes. When I got the package, it changed to 2.5 hours. Whoa. Never mentioned that I had to pay $350 US for transportation. Damn. They're going to tell you some ways in the small print. But I would advise you, if you run across this video, to go through the Better Business Bureau. When I called them to change my package, they just totally ignored me. I purchased insurance for everything. It was my birthday, which turned out to be totally a disaster. Never sent an email. Never sent an email a week ahead to book a restaurant. Never again. I will use this company. They do not care about customers. Very ignorant. All they care about is your money. So again, did I just learn? We are not their customers. The hotel, the rental car, that's their company. That's who they work for. Okay, you're just a cog in this wheel. You are just what they need to make these deals. Burner Boy says, won't refund you. My flight was canceled less than 48 hours before my trip. Expedia told me to book a new flight and pay again. Huh? Expedia now prices are $300 more because it's last minute. To make it worse, they're refusing to refund me for the canceled flight, saying I need to deal directly with the airline who isn't answering emails. Do you know how hard it is? Just a brief sidebar. Do you know how hard, when you're stressed, when you're under stress too, and you're at the airport and you're trying to contact somebody from the airport? I'm in the airport trying to speak to somebody in the airport. Again, watch my video. I'll leave a link to my video and the trauma. I do not want to tell that story again because it was traumatizing. I ain't gonna lie. Again, I put the spiraling in the wrong direction on me because I was already spiraling and then it just went wrong. And that's the day I learned something I never knew, that you couldn't get it, just walk out of an international airport. I mean, Intercontinental here in Houston, I can walk out the internet. I just walk past security and I can't come back unless I have credentials and boarding pass. But I was in Canada. There is no door to take you to ticket because when I got pissed and I was like, I'm going to ticket. I'm going to ticket. And I'm walking. What the hell is a door? What is security? Then I had to realize, oh my God, I can't even get out of here. So now I'm jumping in line, which I was already infuriated that other people were doing it. It was a nightmare. Anyway, she says, I booked through Expedia, not the airline. Passing the buck and offering zero help is unacceptable. If they're just a middleman, again, they are just a middleman with no responsibility, then what's the point of booking with them at all? Agreed. Do you agree? Martha, if there were 0 stars, okay. If there were 0 stars, that's what they would get. They are a horrible company with a terrible customer service, and they don't care about fixing glitches. Why in the world is Delta aligned with them for Delta stays? And they work with everybody. All the major airlines are there. I don't know. And all the things that can go wrong in flying today anyway, why put them in as a middleman? They're just that extra point of failure. They are an extra point of failure. So if there is anything to go wrong, chances are they have something to do with it, especially if you book in a bundle like I did. So they got your flight, you got the shuttle, you got your rental, you got all this stuff, man. And they are the one piece holding everything together, and you can't get them on the phone, and they want to text to you. And we're experiencing abnormally large call volume. Man, we hate hearing that when you call somebody. Okay, let's see. Expedia is not a reliable platform. I wrote a balanced review about the terrible hotel. They advertised Bella Sky Copenhagen, and Expedia deleted it. I believe the reliability of their reviews is therefore questionable, as they seem to filter them, maybe in order to influence the rating of accommodations. Did you just hear that? That is the worst thing you can do, because these sites and sites like this, and what's the other one? Like Yelp. We need these sites to help us decide. I mean, this has just become big over the past 10 years, where we look at reviews and hear what other people say before we go try something. I look at reviews for movies, not really for movies, because for movies, I want to see the preview. But for reviews, this is our site. And if you can't trust what their reviews are, I mean, for any site, this is their way of letting you know from the customer's point of view how they experienced it. Look at all these. So all of these right here should be on Expedia's site, right? Because they're saying it sucks. So if they found their way to TrustPilot, better believe they know how to complain to Expedia. So if all of these reviews that I'm reading right now are not on Expedia, then Expedia is gaming you. Okay. 1 star again. Francis Vet says the non-refundable room rate not clear enough. Must be made clear. We could not cancel within an hour of an error booking a room. Wow. So yeah. So man. So just that little piece right there. If you book something and then 10 minutes later you realize, oh, wait. They're saying, no, it's non-refundable, dude. You saw that section. It said non-refundable. Good luck with that. And they keep it moving. Expedia does not care about you. Expedia sucks. Remember, that's right. Montego Bradley says 1 star. I'll never use Expedia again. The company is a complete scam. I purchased trip protection through Expedia, thinking it would never cover me if I needed to cancel, because that's what trip protection implies, right? Wrong. After canceling the hotel for personal reasons, I filed a claim only to be met with a cold copy-pasted denial. Apparently, unless you're hospitalized or dead, you're out of luck. Damn. So when it goes to that section, do you want to add trip protection? That just sounds like another 3% that they're just collecting from people who take that chance that they're not willing to stand behind. Because I always knew it says, it's pretty liberal in its explanation. So it's out there. It could be, read in different ways. And if it says, because of an illness, okay, well, what kind of illness? Is it a cold? Well, you got to have COVID. Oh no, you need to have COVID. Oh, you got COVID? Oh, did you take your vaccine? Oh, you didn't take the vaccine. We ain't not gonna cover. I always told, just like I told Christopher over at I Go Quote that I advertise for insurance on my site. He's like I said, and when I first started talking to him, I always think insurance goal is not to have to pay. He said, well, you just got to stick to the words that they're putting out there. You got to be exact. So pay attention. But here, trust me. And for my company, for me, I book my own travel. So hotel, airfare, everything. And I'm always trying to get the best price for the company. I'm a company guy. So I don't want, and this is why I'm going through this, because the money didn't come out of my pocket. It came out of my job's pocket. So that makes me even hotter. It makes me responsible for losing money for the company. So I'm on this until I am made whole. So Expedia, remember, that's right. 1 star. I never use Expedia again. This company is a complete scam. I purchased. Oh, here we go. Where did I stop? Expedia, AIG, non-affinity. You're all in the same boat of garbage customer service and misleading practices. I'll never use Expedia or any other of its subsidiaries again. And I'll make sure everyone I know hears about it. Bro, that's why I'm here. I am that guy too. I'm making sure everybody I know knows about this. Avoid this company like the plague. They're taking your money, offering you protection, and then vanish when it's time to actually support you. Believe this. Expedia sucks and needs to go out of business. When I get treated poorly at a restaurant or a bar or something like that, I just go. I don't argue with them because I know I may tell them one thing. That's okay. You'll be out of business soon. Good luck with that. And one day, 6 months later, I'm driving down the road and I go, there you go. That's justice. I want to see you go out of business if you treat your customers poorly. Now, I come from the restaurant, bar, nightclub industry, so I know how to treat customers. And maybe that's part of my problem is I expect people to treat me that way, but it doesn't happen all the time. Okay. But here I am to read these stories because these people are writing these reviews because they want you to know. So I'm reading these reviews to let you know I will do this every week forever. There will at least be one of these videos where I'm going to come over the last few days because these are accurate. These are current. So this is 4 days. Stephen Owing says, if you're using the One Key Cash program, be aware that the fact that it is for hotels. I read this earlier, but maybe not for you. One Key Cash is the fact that hotels are not only package deals after 4 hours of phone calls and chat. Finally got my refunds because I wanted to spend my earning rewards from this program. I will not use this site for flights as my Chase travel. I did read this. Okay, avoid always some issues when using Expedia. Don't receive refunds after cancellation. No communication with the hotel about your booking. Order drive from airport to hotel, not booking by them. Crap customer support. We stop using them. Bet. So here again, I am allowing your story to be heard, and I will continue to do so. Kevin Mills says, "Stay away." Screwed up the reservation, had to cancel and book myself, costing way more. 3 months later, still no credit. Stay away from this site. Perfect example. They're dropping the ball. They're saying they're not going to get my money back, and they're going to stick with this hotel. That hotel is their customer because I'm coming for the hotel next. You will know who this hotel is soon because, and this is one thing I was talking to Sean about. Yeah, remember that they're on the hook too. So I hopefully you get something out of my interview with Sean. When we stopped, it started getting good. So even the next one is going to be better because I want the details for him. But he's giving me some insight. I don't want to be unfair about it. Obviously, I'm coming for him. But I have this thing about being fair. So I want to make sure I'm fair and even with this. But you need to get your point out. Now, whoa, what the heck? 5 stars. Augustus Bonsu says, honestly, honesty and easy to talk to. Nice gentleman. Good guy, Mr. Cole. I'm not sure what experience he had, but you got one, but he is one. How can you get? Oh no. Okay. So he is at 4%. 4% agree with him. And 98% agrees, 99% agrees with me. Okay. I was double booked a rental car. This is Arturo Savis. I was double booked a rental car from Expedia and they refused to issue a refund, $204.83. I will be submitting a claim to the fraud department ASAP. They pad on miscellaneous charges for renting coverage and weird fees and charge double the rental amount. Stay away from these crooks. Just the poor ratings online. Numbers don't lie, folks. Okay, here's the numbers from another customer saying numbers don't lie. Okay, Expedia lies. Jacqueline White. I'm telling you guys, vote with your dollar. Vote with your feet, vote with your dollar. Not happy with something? Walk away. Use them feet. Walk away. Take that same wallet you were going to spend over there and take it somewhere else that you are appreciated. Support those that support you. Support those that support others that you care about, in organizations. Jacqueline White says, seating debacle. Book the trip. Notice my flight seating confirmation changed a few days before departure. That does happen. After you picked a seat and paid to pick a seat. Called Expedia and the airlines. Apparently, the funds I paid in the package when I selected my seats had not transferred to the airlines. Damn, it's a bad one. So the seats that were reserved were canceled. Expedia refused to disclose and send me the details of my booking. The customer representative denied the information was available, but confirmed my seats were secured. Refused to escalate to the manager and U.S. representative. Blamed the airline. Unfortunately, the airline blamed Expedia, but at least they sent me the details for monies from Expedia. Bottom line, I paid the airline directly for assigned seats for my departure. My return flight, interesting enough, the seats were the same as the original booked, even though the airline indicated they too would be removed if the payment was made by a certain date, but that never had. I never had to pay more. I guess they got what they needed from Expedia. After days and hours of finger pointing, will avoid Expedia in the future. Don't trust their tactics, and their customer service is a joke. That's coming from Jacqueline. Ismael Sanchez says, avoid. Okay, their business model is based on you making a mistake during a reservation so that they can keep the money and not provide any service. It's mostly a trap. Avoid. Okay, out of all the reviews I read today, this is sweet, short, straight to the point. Ismael put it. Their business model is counting on you slipping, not reading some of the small print, and just weird things like I went through. Who would have ever thought that they asked him for my credit card, but still going to ask for a $550 cash? Did I really need to read that? When it says they may ask for a deposit upon arrival, I get that. Yeah, like every hotel. That's why I said they want to see your physical credit card. But no, in this case, nope. Small print. I'm telling you, they hide this stuff Stuff that you would never think. And you tell me, has any of you ever had to pay a $550 cash, or before they let you in the building, you need to wire them some cash? I don't care if it's $100. I ain't wiring you $50. Well, I don't have Zelle anyway, and I'm not going to go to a Western Union for a hotel when I'm in some city that I'm not. I'm in another city, and another city I'm not familiar with. Well, I know the area, but I'm in another city I'm not familiar with. I'm in another country I'm not familiar with, and you guys dropped the ball. Definitely. Cameron Randall says, don't book accommodation. It might not exist. Whatever you do, do not book an accommodation with Expedia. I booked accommodation with Expedia when I arrived at the place. Didn't exist. And now Expedia is saying there's nothing they can do to recoup the money I paid. They don't stay up to date on whether the properties are still running. What? So he's saying that he booked a hotel stay and a hotel don't even exist, and it's on their platform, and they're not giving their money back. Cameron, call me, man. We need to fight this battle together. If we got to get what do you call it? A class action lawsuit going, this stuff's gotta stop. Let's get enough of us together. I'm in it. They don't stay up to date on whether the properties are still running, and despite being happy to take money from people transacting on their platform, if anything goes wrong, they take no accountability. Perfectly said. I had other experiences on the platform that have been fine. So have I. But if you can't trust what they host on their platform, then you can't take risk. You can't take a risk with them. I arrived late at night, and Expedia put me at a serious risk, sending me to accommodation that didn't exist. And that's true, because you're trying to get somewhere that don't exist. You don't know where they're going to take you. Where are you going to take your Uber? Well, you may have an address, and you get all the way out there, and it may be a building, but the building is closed. And early at night, and there's been many a time I've left out. We've flown some weird hours with my ex, and we may leave late, or we may get there at 4 a.m. Costa Rica, 3:30. I think we looked at each other and thought we were going to die that night, but that was sketchy. And we had an Airbnb. So the marketplace provider, you can't trust what they put up on their platform. Do not use Expedia. This is coming from people that got screwed. So lesson learned, hopefully. It has been for me, and I'm doing this, and I will continue to do this. And this video will be sent to them. I want them to know what's going on. I want them to see. I want them to feel what I'm saying. I want them to feel the trauma that I had to go through. And every time I got on the phone with them, they're just so childish. It's infuriating, and it makes me get even more hype while I'm on the phone. I try to stay calm, but anyway, let's see. I won't use Expedia again. No avatar protection. It will be twice booking with again. I'll think twice when booking with Expedia again. The accommodation we booked was far below a reasonable standard, but Expedia had refused to refund our payment. The premises were unsafe, and there were groups of men loitering on the premises, drinking from cans, which were left in a pile in the morning. The smell of cannabis was unbearable, and came everything from the occupants in the room below, who were sitting on the balcony smoking, making our balcony unusable, and had to keep the doors closed at night, the air conditioning off, since these things would just smell into the room. The noise on the premises was unbearable. This was just a bad stay. But the whole thing was, let's put this hotel out here. The hotel was the Beach Garden Hotel in Malta. Expedia should be ashamed for promoting and selling this hotel on their website to couples and families. Okay, so again, Bob1 says, did not honor purchased insurance. They do not offer hotel cancellation insurance as they advertise. What they say is that the client should pay the penalty and then file a claim. That is not the same as saying that they will protect cancellations. Now, I'm going to ask this question too. Let's see, insurance, because we need to ask Sean this one too. What happens? How do they try to get out of the insurance? Because, Alliance or any of these, it says if you're sick or from one of these causes, you got COVID, something happened, you're in an accident, or, again, I still think all insurance, their goal is to not have to pay. But that's why, and again, Christopher told me that you dot all your I's and cross your T's. You got to do everything precisely and perfectly. That's why I say hire him, because this is what he does for a living. And I don't need to be concerned when here's my trip, here's my dates, here's how much it cost. Here's how much each piece of it costs. Let's see. West Powell says, I booked a flight, hotel, and car, or so I thought. I book with weekend trip from Cincinnati to Fort Myers. I booked a flight, hotel, and car. I get to Fort Myers, and there was no car in my package. I would have never paid the price if there was no car. I found better packages, and we would have went with another website. I ended up having to add yet another car again. This is what happens. You end up having to pay once you got ripped off. Now you're on the spot. Like I was in Canada. Now I'm on the spot. I need a place to stay. I need to set up my stuff. And the hotel I was going to stay at was like blocks away from the events. But I had to drive another hour and a half back to the airport because that's the only place I knew. Let me get in the airport. I know it's going to be less expensive. It's going to be near the airport. I'll just have to drive down for the event and drive right back, which I did. I left after the first inning. We're socializing, which helps builds relationships with customers. But I can't stay past a certain inning because it's going to be, there was also a hockey game that night too. So I knew what traffic looks like. It looked like Manhattan at 9 a.m. on a Friday in Soho. So yeah, I coming out of the Lincoln Tunnel. You don't want to do that. It is really not smart. So I knew I had to get out of there early and fly back and drive back to the airport. Plus, I'm paying for that hotel too. And I had issues at the hotel. I said parking $35. I was like, man. And I even took my car back the night before because now I'm at the airport. I just took the car back and took the shuttle back to the hotel. That's the benefit of staying at the hotel because there's shuttles. But anyway, be careful, guys. Just be careful, but book direct. I'm going to say book direct. I think booking.com has better ratings, and I'm going to ask Sean about that too. I think he will tell you what the differences are. But I'm never using Expedia again, and I would advise that you do the same. I booked a flight, hotel, and car, and so I thought. I booked a weekend trip from Cincinnati to Fort Myers. I booked a flight, hotel, and car. 2 points failure. I got to Fort Myers, and there is no car with my package. I would have never paid the price if there was no car. I found better packages and would have went to another website. I ended up having to yet rent another car. Won't be using them again. Again, you're having a double pay. Customer, no name, says credit not valid with any airline. Refunds not permissible. I booked a flight that I had to cancel due to my father's sudden passing. Man, I was given a credit of $1,200 when trying to use the airline. The airline doesn't have a credit program, only refunds. I asked Expedia to book a domestic flight using the $1,200 credit, and they said they couldn't because the country of origin had changed. Although Air Canada does not have a partnership with Lufthansa, or does have a relationship with Lufthansa. It is Expedia that created a loophole to make it non-refundable and give credit that wasn't valid at all. The agents are useless, and this has gone downhill, ripping off students with lies and extortion for money. After an hour, my third call was escalated, and the ticket was refunded as an exception. So ultimately, he got to the right person. The third call. I've had my third calls. Well, I've spoken in 3 in 1 day. So let me give a couple more, and I'm gonna do this weekly, guys, because you need to know, and they need to know. I'm putting this out here. Yuri Morocco. If I would, I'd give it a 0. I booked the car rental with them, and the price they quoted was a lie. I had to pay more than twice of what they quoted. Will never use it again. Be careful with rental cars. Some rental cars, when you look at the price, it may say pay now or pay later, but either way, there is a difference in whether the tax is included or not. Taxes and fees, all that stuff is included. It may be just because you're paying now, you get a little discount, but it's still taxes and fees. So because I use budget and enterprise mostly, and I want to say enterprise, one does and one doesn't. One has the taxes included and one doesn't. So when you look at it, just notice the comparison won't be equal because one is including taxes and fees, and the other one does not until later, like this one. They start adding on these fees. That's how they got you. Okay, let me read a couple more. Travel from Chicago. I bought a package which includes air, car, hotel 2 months before my travel date. Our flight was delayed due to a dust storm in Chicago area. When we arrived in Atlanta, it was late, almost past midnight. When we arrived at the car rental counter at Alamo, the representative told us they didn't have any more cars. I've had that, been there. I didn't have any more cars because it was the first come, first served basis when we had reservations almost 2 months ago. We took the Uber to the hotel, which cost me around $55. Damn, that's worse than mine. I think it was $33 Uber for a 5-minute ride at National when I went home for a funeral a couple of years ago, or last year. Then next day, rented a car from Enterprise, which cost $155. When asked for a refund, Expedia said they needed to contact Alamo. Never, I would never use Alamo. I mean, I'm picky about car rentals. If it's not budget can be ghetto, but they have a lot of cars. So I would say budget and Enterprise. And Enterprise works with what's the yellow one? Avis too. So they all incestuous. They all buy each other, and you never know. We'll never know what car you're going to get. They bringing it from one to another. Anyway, when asked for a refund from Expedia, they said to contact Alamo. After 3 days, now they're saying Alamo didn't approve a refund, and that's why they cannot issue a refund. So again, Expedia said they're just going to drop the ball, leave it on or the hotel or the rental or whatever. Nope, we just take the money. That's all we do is we take the money. Remember, that's right. Okay, let me read this last one from Richard H. Rented a car for 10 days using Expedia UK for booking in the US. When arrived to pick up, the agent could not process and book and left me with the only option of paying again. I did this and contacted Expedia for a refund, which they have refused to do. And all I get is sanctimonious platitudes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I know how to, and they will talk to you because it's a script too. And they're, well, I'm sorry about this and that, and just because it's our policy, or it's the accent is outside the country. I don't want to imitate anybody, but because that was my Southern U.S. Accent. But I thought I was calling India when I called Expedia every time. So they farm out the help. They take your money. They farm out the help. That they don't reimburse you, refund you. No, that has to go from the car dealership. I'm going to stop here, but that I need you to understand that Expedia sucks. Book direct. Book with the hotel. Earn your points that way. Sometimes Expedia hotels will allow. So if I'm at an Embassy Suites, I'm saying, oh, what's the name? Can you use my points? I mean, can I accrue points and give you my number, my one stop or whatever points, all these. I sign up for all that stuff just because it's good to all the airlines too. I signed up with all of them because just like American, just because you sign up for a membership, you're going to be in at least group 5. You don't want to be in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I don't know how far back it goes, but you will be number 5. Sometimes there's no 4, very few 3. So why not sign up for it? Why not sign up for everything? Anyway, I'm going to stop here. But again, I want you to know and I want Expedia to know that this is going to continue and you guys need to be aware. Stay away from Expedia. Stay away from what can happen on your travel trips. This stuff happens. And eventually, it's going to be your turn. Like I tell people, I tell you guys, at some point, you're going to get the baby. And all that means is that baby that stands up in the seat in front of you or kicks on your seat in the back. It's going to be your turn at some point. So just enjoy those that don't have the baby as best you can because it's going to be your turn at some point. And if you're using Expedia, it's going to be your time soon. So you're up to date with the latest on travel information, on not to travel with Expedia information. This will continue weekly forever. Forever, ever. That's right. Anyway, you're up to date. Remember to travel, but travel safe.
Thanks for hitting like. DCBornRob.
So, hey, girl, thanks for coming by my place.
No worries. You mind if our girlfriend can come by with us?
Hell no. This is why I watch DCRob. Headed to Medellin, Colombia? See my guy Andres with Nomad Travel for safe airport pickups and drop-offs and tours. Contact information in the description below.